Welcome to the One Deal Millionaire Podcast, where we don't just bounce properties, we flip mindsets. I'm JD Allen, Marine Corps veteran, engineering leader, and your multifamily investment mentor. If you're stuck chasing small gains, we're here to change the game. Each week, we dive into strategies to bounce your way to your first million. No fluff, no hype, just real talk, real deals, and real momentum. You really don't know who you are as a leader until things go sideways, until the plan falls apart, and until the team's looking at you for an answer. That is the moment where leadership is earned, not in the meetings and not in the metrics, but in the mess, in the middle of the chaos, when your voice becomes their compass. Look, titles don't make the leaders, degrees don't make leaders, and fancy slogans won't save you when the pressure's on, but your principles will. In the Marine Corps, we were taught to lead through fire, to make decisions under stress, and to stand tall under pressure, and to never back down. And what was the code of this? JJ did tie buckle. 14 battle-tested traits that forge real leaders, not followers with rank, but warriors with resolve. And it's not just theory, it is how leaders are made, so let's go ahead and dive in. Justice isn't just a legal term, it is leadership in motion. It's the backbone of trust, the foundation of morale. And if your people don't believe you'll treat them fairly, they will never follow you fully. Justice means you hold the line even when it's uncomfortable. It's easy to play favorites, it's easy to look the other way when your top performers break the rules, but a real leader calls out what is wrong, even when it costs them. Because leadership isn't about comfort, it is about character. You don't get to have standards only when it's convenient. Justice means everyone knows where the line is, and that you won't move it for anyone. Judgment separates leaders from the followers because not everyone can see around corners, and not everyone can take incomplete data, rising pressure, and conflicting opinions and make the right call. But you don't have the luxury of waiting for perfect information. In war, in business, and in life, decisions have to be made, and they have to be made fast. Good judgment isn't about being impulsive, it's about being grounded. It's knowing when to wait and when to strike. It's reading people, reading patterns, and sometimes trusting your gut because your gut is trained. Want to lead? Learn to sharpen your judgment. Study the wins, study the failures, and then have the guts to choose. Dependability. If they can't count on you, they are certainly not going to follow you. Period. The end. It's not your charisma and it's not your resume. It is your consistency. Can they trust that you'll show up, that you'll follow through, that when you say, I've got you, that you actually mean it? Dependability isn't sexy, but it is the secret weapon of a high-performing team. When things get tight, they need to know you're not disappearing. You're not blaming, you're not flaking, you've locked in, because real leaders don't make excuses. They make commitments and they keep them. Tact isn't about sugarcoating, it is about saying the hard truth in a way that gets heard and not ignored. You can be bold without being brutal, you can be correct without crushing someone's spirit, because leadership isn't just about getting the results. It's about keeping the team intact while you do. Tact is choosing words with precision, especially when emotions run hot. It's the difference between lighting a fire under someone and burning that bridge entirely. And the best leaders, they don't just speak to be right, they speak to actually be effective. Integrity. I'm going to tell you, if you lose this one, nothing else is going to matter. You can have all the skills and all the charm and all the results and hustle that you want to. But if your people don't trust your word, you are finished. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching and doing it again when it's inconvenient. And then doing it again when no one even knows that you made a hard choice. Integrity shows up in the small things, when you're owning your mistakes, admitting that you're wrong, refusing to cut those corners, even when everyone else is. And in the Marine Corps, we had a phrase, you're either green and growing or ripe and rotting. And integrity, that's the root that keeps you growing straight. Now, the next one is something that people don't talk about enough. Endurance. Leadership is exhausting, and if you're doing it right, it very well should be, because leaders carry weight. They carry responsibility, the vision, doubt, hope all at once. Endurance isn't just about running farther, it's about leading longer. It's about showing up day after day, even when you're tired, under fire, and running on empty, but you're still pushing forward. It's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and you don't quit on your team, you don't quit on the mission, and most importantly, you don't quit on yourself. Because the moment that you're saying I'm done is the moment someone else gets permission to stop. Bearing. Before you ever even open your mouth, you've already been judged. Not by your words, but by your presence. The way you walk into the room, the way you stand when chaos hits, the way you carry yourself when the outcome is still unknown. Bearing is composure under pressure. It keeps your head high when the heat's rising, and it shows your team through your body language alone that we got this. And make no mistake about it, this doesn't mean you fake it. It means you own the weight and carry it with quiet strength. The best leaders walk into the storms not with panic, but with purpose. So fix your posture, lift your chin, because leadership is felt before it is followed. Unselfishness. Now this one is a separator. It's the difference between someone who's chasing that spotlight and someone who's actually building something bigger than themselves. Unselfishness is sacrificing your comfort so the team can move forward. It's giving credit where it's due, taking blame when it's not convenient, and putting people before your own ego. If you want to build that loyalty, be the leader who grabs the mop after the mess, or who takes the late night call, and who says, how can I help you, even when you've got your own fires burning. The moment you stop leading for applause and start leading for actual impact, that's when everything is going to change. Courage. Now this one, it hits deep, because courage isn't loud, and it's not always the battle cry or that big speech. Sometimes courage is a whisper that just says you got to keep going. Courage is facing a fear, not in its absence, but in its presence. It's speaking up in the middle of the meeting when your voice is shaking, or it's calling out toxic behavior when the silence would be easier, and it's even saying no when everybody else is nodding yes. You don't need to be fearless, you just need to move forward anyway. And here's the truth. The world's got enough comfortable leaders. What we need are the courageous ones, the ones who make those bold decisions and take that first step and inspire the others to do the same. Courage doesn't mean you don't feel the fear, it just means that the fear doesn't get a drive. Knowledge. Let me be clear. Leadership is not just emotional strength. It's mental firepower. If you're not sharpening your edge, you're getting dull. And dull leaders don't win. Knowledge is what separates the noisemakers from the decision makers. You got to know your craft, know your numbers, and know your people. You don't walk into a battle guessing, you walk in prepared. In the Marines, we drilled every scenario until it was muscle memory. Why? Because when the pressure hits, you don't want to rise to the occasion. You want to fall to the level of your training. So read the books, study the game, learn the market. Whether you're leading a fire team, a family, or a Fortune 500 company, be the most informed voice in the room. And if you're not, sit down, shut up, and learn. Loyalty. This one's not optional. Loyalty is the glue that holds elite teams together. And if you don't have it, everything will fall apart. But loyalty isn't about just standing by someone when it's easy. It's about standing with them when it's costly. You back your people in public always. You correct them in private respectfully, and when things go south, you don't throw anyone under the bus to save face. You protect your team like a family, because that's what it becomes. When your people know you're loyal, they will walk through fire for you. But if they sense that you're not in it for them, or you're only in it for yourself, they'll follow you just far enough to watch you fall. Enthusiasm. Energy is a weapon, and leaders set the tone. If you show up flat, frustrated, or disconnected, don't expect your team to be fired up and focused. But if you walk in with a purpose, a passion, and positive heat, they will feed off that spark. Enthusiasm doesn't just mean fake hype, it means you're bought in. And it means you believe in what you're building and you show it. And when times get hard, your energy becomes their anchor. Because when the mission gets muddy, when the wind feels far off, your enthusiasm reminds people why they started. Now, one last thing about these last three traits, knowledge, loyalty, and enthusiasm. They don't just shape your leadership, they actually shape your legacy. You want to be the kind of leader who people talk about 10 years from now, or the kind who helped them grow, showed them loyalty, and lifted the room? Then study, stand by your people, and light that freaking fire. Now, you've heard it. JJ did tie buckle. Those 14 traits. One mission, lead like it matters, because it does. Leadership isn't just about barking orders or chasing titles. It's about showing up when it's inconvenient, about making the hard calls when no one else will, and about carrying the torch when others drop it. Let's run through it one last time. Justice, judgment, dependability, initiative, decisiveness, tact, integrity, endurance, bearing, unselfishness, courage, knowledge, loyalty, and enthusiasm. That's not just a list, it is a code. One you live by, not when it's easy, but when it's essential. Now, whether you're building a business, leading a squad, or guiding your family, you don't have to be perfect, but you damn sure better be intentional. So today, choose the kind of leader that you want to be, stand taller, speak stronger, and carry the standard that others will rise to meet. Because the world doesn't need more bosses, it needs more leaders. That's it for today's episode of the One Deal Millionaire Podcast. If you got value from this, share it with a friend who's ready to stop playing small. And remember, wealth isn't built by watching, it's built by moving. So take what you learned, apply it, and keep the velocity of money working in your favor. Subscribe, leave a review, and stay in the loop at thebouncemethod.com. And until next time, keep bouncing forward.